What's going on, sports card hobby family? Another day and a Sunday without football, though. It's kind of sad. Today we're going to put this to bed for a little while. I know I've been talking a lot about SGC and collectors and PSA over the last 3-4 days. We will put it to bed here for a little bit, I promise, but I wanted to clarify some comments, kind of build off of what we were talking about. A lot of speculation as to what happens next with SGC. And let me say, even though SGC is a channel partner, I don't have any sort of inside information. I don't have any special info that the public doesn't have. I have connected with the folks over there since the announcement, but I haven't had deep, meaningful conversation. I think that'll probably happen here over the next couple of weeks. So I'm speculating here. I could very well be wrong, but to me, some of this feels obvious, and I'm going to just share my opinions. Before I do get started, huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Hess Auctions. We are knee deep in the March premiere auction, all sorts of variety at Hess Auctions. Guys, I'm a pop culture nerd, as you can see, all the things, and Hess has got all the different stuff. I mean, they have got graded comic books, graded video games, graded action figures, of course, sports cards, non-sports. They've got movie memorabilia, props, and all sorts of things. It's a wild ride. So make sure to check out Hess Auctions, and on Tuesday evening, I will have Alex Winter on. He's the president of Hess, and we're going to go through some of the auction items. It's going to be a good time, so join us. All right, it's no secret to anyone that's been paying attention to the social media space here over the last few days. Collectors, who also owns PSA, picked up SGC. As far as grading sports cards, there are two companies out of the big four that really grade the most volume. It's PSA, it's SGC, over Beckett and CGC are the other two. Of all those four, the company that has made the most strides year over year, that's made the most progress in upping market share and upping their volume over the last 12 months is SGC. It's clear that Collectors as a company is looking to really own that vertical of the grading space. It looks like they're going to move on from Golden. That is the rumor that's been going around for a week now, is that Golden Auctions will be sold or moved to a new owner. Of course, we don't have confirmation of it yet, but it's been flying around all over the place. But what that tells me, though, is that Collectors as a company moving off of some of the other stuff and focused on the grading space. Maybe they'll do something different, though. Maybe they'll do kind of a Fanatics thing where they're buying different pieces as they pop up. Fanatics, of course, bought PWCC. They bought Tops. They're trying to get on all the verticals. And I'm just kind of wondering if Collectors has maybe decided, you know what? Maybe we don't want to be a jack of all trades, a master of nothing, and we just want to focus in on grading. Especially if they move off of Golden, it will be interesting to see if they kind of stay along that path. And so a lot of speculation here that SGC will be gone. You know, now that Collectors has bought them, they've got PSA, they're going to dissolve SGC, and it's just going to be PSA, and PSA is going to grade all your cards, and everyone's going to be happy with that, right? That's what a lot of people are saying. To me, it doesn't make sense. If we go back to Nat Turner's statement, which, again, these are carefully crafted statements. They don't BS around with these statements. Our portfolio focuses on service providers that bring expertise, quality, and value to hobbyists. And SGC has built a strong reputation on these three fronts, says Collectors CEO Nat Turner. We recognize that every collector has their own preferred authentication and grading provider. That's a key statement. And we look forward to providing expertise that will continue to enhance SGC's customer offering. Making that statement, it just seems odd that in the next 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, that they would just move off of and dissolve SGC. Just kind of take their pieces, take their graders, and turn it all into PSA and move on. I recently made the analogy of Louis Vuitton and Gucci. If the parent company of Louis Vuitton ended up buying Gucci, would it make sense for them to put LV on all of the Gucci products? No, it wouldn't make sense. These are established brands, and in our sports card hobby space, there's not a lot of grading companies that have been around this long that have an established brand in place, that have built customer loyalty, that are actually on the rise. SGC is a company on the rise, whereas if you look at some of the other CGC and Beckett, when we're talking about sports card grading, CGC doing a great job on the TCG side of things. Pokemon cards and non-sports are doing very well. On the sports card side, though, they are flailing. Both Beckett and CGC last month, when we looked at the gem rate data, they combined for about 50,000 cards last month. 50,000 cards. So then that brings us to the next, to me, kind of a logical conclusion. What is Collectors' motivation to move SGC off the map, to dissolve SGC? To me, I would think they would want to keep SGC around, because if it's only PSA those are the options. And then, the other two companies, hell, CGC might come out and say, you know what, we're not going to bother with sports cards anymore. We're just going to do trading card games. We're just going to do TCG. And maybe, who knows what's going to go on with Beckett. And then what? I think that the hobby is too small of a niche space to really get antitrust attention. I know a lot of people throw the monopoly word around, but why would collectors bring that on as a possibility when they don't need to? It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense for them to kind of move off of a brand that's already established to go ahead and, discontinue it, which is not going to make the hobby happy overall. It's going to get negative attention. And then, CGC, let's say they move out of sports cards. Oh, wow, we have one big company that handles sports card grading? That's interesting. I just don't see it. I actually believe Nat Turner's statement, and I think that over the long run, they're going to stick to it. I think they're going to work together to build up both brands. I just do. I think that that's the way that it's going to go. That, to me, makes the most sense. That's the smartest move. And for a lot of the folks that are reacting, I understand you might be a big PSA people, you're set registry people, you're devoted to PSA, and I totally get that. You're allowed to have your opinions, of course. The idea that SGC has a subpar brand with a subpar product, it's just not reality. The grading team and the overall team at SGC is tremendous, and Nat Turner said it himself. The proof is in the pudding. You just look at the numbers and they tell you that SGC has built a strong foundation, and now working with collectors, there are some opportunities to really kind of scale. There's some opportunities to do some different things, and we'll have to see how this plays out. Of course, nobody can see the future. And again, for those that think that, hey, in 5 years there will be no more SGC slabs, Neo, shout out to you, my PSA homer buddy Neo over there. To me, it makes absolutely no sense. But again, I am just a guy in the man cave making videos with Alf. So take it for what you will. Guys, have an amazing rest of your day. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.